Now it's time to bring in David McAdams, president of McAdams Advisory Group in Memphis, Tennessee. He's a popular speaker, educator, and financial analyst nationwide. Dave, tell us, what does your crystal ball say about 2020?
Well, if we're talking about interest rates, I really think they're going to stay flat. I don't envision any rate increases for 2020. In fact, I would say there's probably a 50% chance we might see one small rate decrease.
Okay, I agree. I don't think they're going to go up, and you're right, they may actually go down. Okay, so that means that they've got their hands on the machine. They're moving the chess pieces around. Does that mean that they could stave off recession throughout 2020, maybe push it into 21 or 22?
Yeah, so let me be clear. I think over the next 24 to 36 months, I think there's a decent chance we'll have a recession. But concerning 2020, with the election happening, if we're talking about stocks, I really see a lot of volatility and nervousness heading into the election. I see people playing more defense. But if Trump wins the election, let's face it, he's pro-economy, whether you love him or hate him. I think we'll see a little rally if he wins the election, more irrational exuberance, if you will, at the end of the year if that plays out.
Okay, so the market you think is going to be based upon what happens with the election. Gotcha. How about the economy? I mean, there's only so much control there, and I don't think that's tied to the election. What do you think the economy will do? In other words, the stock market could go down because we get the wrong candidate in office, but it could also potentially go down because of the economy. So let's spend the last 45 seconds we have talking about your thoughts on the economy itself for 2020.
Yeah, so as far as the economy goes, GDP growth is pegged to be about 2%. The Fed's hoping inflation stays at about 2%. That certainly is not where the current administration wants to see it. They want to see much stronger GDP growth. But I do think that it's probably going to be difficult to continue seeing the type of GDP growth we saw in the last few years at the beginning of this administration. So I think the GDP growth is probably going to be pegged right at about 2%. And that's what I see for 2020.
Okay, so GDP growth, we won't necessarily slip into a recession. It might slow a little bit. The possibility of one interest rate reduction by the Fed could further push a recession into 2021. And the stock market, really a crapshoot based upon the election, which I'm hearing a lot of people forecast. So Dave, as usual, it's been my pleasure. Thank you very much for being on the show.